Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four with the Country Hipster Podcast theme song, Dirty Knife. That's all that song is good for now, is the Country Hipster Podcast. That's all I'm saying.
I like to think that if they really put out like a vinyl or something, like the little, what do you call the stickers on the front of them?
Hype stickers?
Hype stickers. The little hype sticker just says as heard on the Country Hipster Podcast.
Yes, exactly. I think that's how it would go. That is exactly how it would go. So business, I have no business. So go to OttsvilleRecordGarage.com. I have no shows coming up this week because just ended up being a weekend off for me, so that's good. And next Sunday, and I'll get into it a little bit more later, next Sunday is actually our fantasy football party. So so we're going to be not filming next week. So next week's episode will be a random record episode, but I'll get into that later because it's already set up. At this point, it's like a random record in the sense that like it's not part of our normal format. So, because I think like the last couple times I did this with like having like Sean pick a record and then Kristen pick a record, I thought it was actually kind of cool. So,
it actually worked out nicely because it's kind of like a dry run for what we plan on doing for season 2.
Kind of, yeah, yep. So it'll be good. So I oh, by the way, the guy on the Max Headroom screen here, who I have not introduced, is my co-host and brother Adam, the Country No Show. Calling me 20 minutes before he's supposed to be
so
here.
I just want to let the listeners and the viewers at home know that I texted Paul. I was running late, but really, I wasn't really running late. I just have a really big pimple that's forming on the left side of my cheek, right there. So I couldn't. I knew that the cameras in the garage were better quality than my Skype camera. So like this way, I can hide my pimple better.
So you should be the Country Vain.
The Country Vain?
Vain. You're like very vain. You're so vain you probably think this song is about you.
I say I'm so vain.
You are.
I know this song.
You are. But I was gonna say it looks like you're in like a fucking like safe room or something. You're like, come save me, I need help.
So my girlfriend Katai and I we decided that I was gonna move in with her. And so this weekend I started the process of moving my shit into her apartment. So this is now what was once Katai's room is now mine and Katai's room. So we have a nice. She's a big fan of Liechtenstein, so there's a Liechtenstein print on the wall.
Okay,
if you can see it.
All right, there you go.
So
there you go. All right, cool. Well, good luck with that. It's probably a bad move, but you know.
Yeah, it's probably fall apart. You know, probably end in a terrible fiery wreck. But you know.
Yep. I don't applaud you living in Delco now. That's for sure.
Nah.
And if that offends any,
there's a Royal Farms right around the corner that sells beer.
Yep. Have you had their chicken? You have had their chicken, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not had Royal Farms chicken yet. I got to get around to that.
Actually, this morning. Was it this morning? Yeah, this morning I had a breakfast. You know how like when you go to Wawa, they have the pre-made breakfast sizzlies?
Yeah. Yep.
So Royal Farms does the same thing, but Royal Farms sometimes has like a scrapple egg and cheese.
Okay.
On a croissant, and the one I had today was, which when you think about it is kind of fucked up. It's a piece of like it's a fried chicken strip with egg and cheese on a biscuit. It's like so you're just eating
chicken and chickens.
All different forms of murdered chickens, which is great.
Hey,
I'm all for it.
Yep. Nice. Very cool. So, fuck it. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it with the factoids. We are here to talk about. It was my pick for episode 44. It is Samiam Clumsy, and I'm actually.
Are we at 44?
We're at 44. This is episode 44. So I'm actually going to do this the easy way because they're really, I'm sure as you guys have figured out at this point when we research this stuff, we're pretty much using Wikipedia. So it's not like we have a ton of information, and we're not even sure that it's necessarily correct. But hey, whatever. It's what we do. So there's not really a whole lot of information on this. So I'm just going to read what is on the wiki because it actually, it's actually not bad. So this is Samiam Clumsy. Clumsy is an album by the American band Samiam. released in 1994 on Atlantic Records. The band had been subject to a bidding war following the early 1994 success of Green Day. It was Samiam's first album for a major label. It was released on August 23rd, 1994, so just short of 30 years ago. Clumsy's first single was Capsized. The band promoted the album by opening for Bad Religion on the Stranger Than Fiction tour, and Clumsy sold around 13,000 copies in the first 6 months of its release. The album was produced by Lee Giordano, who also produced, he was a sound man for Husker Du through 1988, and later produced
I believe it's pronounced Husker Du, Paul.
However you say it, I don't care. I always said Husker Du. He later produced Bob Mould's spinoff Sugar, and he has produced a wide variety of bands, including Sunny Day Real Estate, the Connells, and the Goo Goo Dolls. And Giordano is well known for having produced Taking Back Sunday's second album, Where You Want to Be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, their name sounds like they make delicious chocolate.
Exactly. The Washington Post thought that if not bursting with originality, such tunes as We're Told and Bad Day are nonetheless appealingly energetic and melodic. The Philadelphia Inquirer determined that Samiam favors a thick power chord attack that supports lithe, retching, and surprisingly melancholy vocals. The result is music that wallops and cries at the same time. The Gazette concluded, no problems here with their Westerberg Jr. angst nor their rock ambitions, but if 94 was the year punk broke, 95 is the year it will be broken. I guess they didn't like the punk that was coming out in 94, 95. The Press Enterprise stated that Clumsy flows between hardcore punk and hippie grunge with lyrics telling of childhood pain and misery. And the Albuquerque Tribune, Tribune? Tribune. Thank you. Referred to the album as melodic hardcore filled with underlined aggression, bottled like a clinch-fisted rage. All Music wrote, As We're Told and Bad Day swell with monstrous punk hooks. Meanwhile, two slower numbers, Tag Along and Cradle, are respectively dreamy and angry enough while still retaining can't miss melodicism. So that's basically the factoids. The fact that there just aren't a whole lot of factoids on this album. But I do love this album. Capsized was the first song that I remember hearing by Samiam.
Real quick, Paul.
Yeah, and it definitely grabbed me.
When we drew the album last week, I had no idea who the band was. You had said that they had gotten, I think you said they had like moderate success or moderate, notability.
Yeah, moderate, like very, very, like moderate within like the like, mid to late 90s emo scene, and they're still around. They're still touring. This album is the one that kind of set them to like the next album. Their song Factory, which is on the album after this, was somewhat of a hit. I didn't really look it up. I know it did get some more airplay than their other stuff, but they've always been one of those bands, and I get into this a little bit. One of those bands that like people, like not a lot of people obviously, but people have heard of but haven't necessarily heard.
Yeah. So, up until honestly, I've looked at the list of your albums and looked through the physical albums multiple times and do not remember this being on the list. So.
Well, we made the envelopes 9 months ago, so I didn't slip one in there for
Which
you.
I think that'd be kind of like a fun move for you. Like, just start, just change shit up. And just,
right. Yeah, but
just add some random fucking record I've never heard of before.
I'd have to go back.
Mix and
I'd have to figure out which ones are mine or which ones are yours, though. That's kind of the problem. So real quick, so what are your thoughts on this album?
Like I said, going into this, I had no idea who they were. And Paul had said, I think in the last episode, in the Taylor Swift episode, that this is like the kind of like emo music that Paul cut his teeth on.
Yep.
Listening to, I enjoyed the shit out of the album.
Okay.
I was waiting for the podcast to ask you if you continued, because I know I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had their most recent album was, they had an album come out 2023 called Stowaway.
Yep.
Have you continued to listen to them up and through the years, or was there a certain point you had to drop off? Because from listening to this album, I want to listen to more. So I was going to ask for more recommendation, like which other albums you would highly recommend.
After the follow up to Clumsy, you were freaking me out. I really didn't follow them that much, to be honest with you. That came out in '97. Like I said, they had the song "Factory" on there, which got a little bit of radio airplay and whatnot. But honestly, like '97, I had just gotten married. I was, making a family. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really looking at a whole lot of music, for a while there. So no, I really haven't. I do know that they never stopped playing, they never stopped touring, and never stopped putting records out. I just haven't really gone back and like followed up with their later stuff. They were in Philly not that long ago. And I did think about going, but then it was just like, yeah, nah, it's not, I just didn't want to, you know what I mean? There wasn't enough, I guess, else, like, or maybe I had something else going on. I don't know, but I've seen them, like, that they were coming around, and I'm always kind of like, oh, I'd like to check it out. I just haven't gotten around to it. So,
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Cool.
Listening to it, I can definitely hear, like shit that I listen to in it.
Yeah.
Like I definitely hear like that early 2000s emo scene. Like I can definitely see where you get from this to that, from this album to the shit I listened to in early 2000s.
Yep. So what the fuck is going on there? Is this an episode of Summer Movie Club in the background there?
It is an episode of Summer Movie Club. So, Katai bought her children some video game on Switch that involves like a monster train. And I think Katai is more into it than the kids are.
I can see that.
So they're in the other room. I'm in the bedroom with the door locked. And they're in the living room fighting a monster train with a flamethrower.
Okay.
Or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Okay. Fun. So back to what you were saying. No, this and I it's funny you said. So this album flirts with alt rock, pop punk, and 90s emo, but doesn't like identify fully as any of those things. You know what I mean? It's like all over the place. Like I almost feel that it's overproduced and that they were trying.
On iTunes, it's just generically listed as rock.
Right. I fucking love it when I can't read my oh, there it is. So you got and to that point, so you got like As We're Told and Capsized are just fucking emo as fuck.
Yeah.
Stepson is emo, but it kind of has a little bit of like a Goo Goo Dolls feel to it. Like not like one of the popular like Goo Goo Dolls stuff, but if you hear like, and I'm not a huge Goo Goo Dolls fan, but if like you listen to like especially their earlier stuff before they got like super big.
I'm at the risk of offending the hundreds of millions of Goo Goo Doll fans out there. Do they have other songs besides Iris and Slide?
They do, and like that's the stuff. The stuff's actually not like the stuff that's not their most popular songs. I actually think are pretty good. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself a Goo Goo Dolls fan, but like I've heard other stuff that's it's not bad.
You're not gaga over Goo Goo.
No, I'm not gaga over the Goo Goo Dolls. Bad Day is like basically falls into 94 pop punk. You know what I mean? But and that's kind of the point. Is like because of when it came out, because they were like really sought after by a major label. Like like you almost feel like they were like, okay, we'll take what you want to do, but we want you to do this, and we're going to kind of mesh it all together. Which I think is one of the reasons why this album is overlooked, because I don't think this album honestly has a true identity. It's still like it works for me. I do love the album, but like I feel like it got lost in like the mid '90s alt rock, pop punk genres, and it. Like I said, I think they wanted it to not, and I'm not even saying the band. I'm going to say like the record label probably wanted it to be somewhat of a copycat, but you know, there's times where it has the copycat syndrome, but it doesn't fully. It's like I almost feel like maybe like the band, and I'm just I'm guessing here. The band maybe fought against about being like a straight Green Day ripoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's probably what makes this album so unique, but from a marketing and A&R point of view, it's probably fucking they were probably like, fuck, how are we going to do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I probably heard this for the first time in early 95. It came out in August of 94. I probably heard it for the first time in 95 while playing music with Sean from the Unholy Four in our band Disunion.
Now, question.
Yeah.
How old were you in 95?
19? 19, yeah.
All right. So prime going to shows age.
Yep.
Have you seen this band live?
I did, actually. It's one of my notes here. I saw them in 96 at the Trocadero. So the capacity of the Troc is...
R.I.P. Trocadero.
Yes, Trocadero. There you go. The capacity of the Trocadero was 1,200 people. When I saw them, there were probably less than 100 people there at the Troc, which made it seem like there was nobody there.
Paul.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you. What's the stuffed animal with the top hat behind you?
What? Oh, Mr. Poopy Pants?
I'm pretty sure I saw a mouse just run up the wall by Mr. Poopy Pants.
It's completely possible. We'll have to go back and watch it on video. Would it surprise me?
Amazing.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. We already know we have mice here in the Ottsville Record Garage, and it's winter, and there's a ton of snow on the ground, so I'm sure the mice are coming close. I actually had a fox the other day. I was looking out like the back windows, and a fox just came walking
Paul
past.
Posted some very fucking scenic Instagram pictures of a fucking red fox traipsing through a snow-covered fucking acreage.
Yeah, actually, Katie took those pictures. My pictures look like shit. Sure, her pictures look good. But yeah, fucking fox just came walking by, and then like yesterday morning I woke up and I looked out, and I know there were at least 4 different deer in the yard because I tracks going 4 different ways, so it was kind of cool. I'm assuming it was 4 different deer. I don't think it was one deer.
Deers usually travel single file to hide their numbers.
Exactly. Well, there might have been many single files there, but yes. So would it surprise me if you just saw a mouse climb up the wall? Not at all. Not in the least bit.
No.
So there were probably around like 100 people or less at the Trocadero show. But they were energetic and engaging, and just a fun band to see live. So that was definitely good.
And we're talking main stage at the Troc.
Main stage at the Troc, yeah, not at the balcony. If they were at the balcony, I wouldn't have been able to get in because the balcony at the time was 20. Actually, I'm trying to think if the balcony. So they had the balcony, but I don't think in '95, and I could be wrong about this, but I don't think in '95, at least. Or like summer '95. I don't think they were actually doing shows at the balcony yet.
Okay.
I think it came around that time or soon after there. But I don't think they were doing the shows at the balcony because they did start that where it was almost like, why have a big venue empty most of the time because we don't have bigger bands coming through. So they started doing like local bands and then smaller touring bands and whatnot. And they would do them up in the balcony, but those shows were always 21 and over. So it took a few years before I was able to actually even get to see a show there. But the balcony was a cool place to see a show.
I can't remember if we have we've definitely mentioned the Troc and the balcony before. But have we discussed which do you prefer, main stage or balcony?
I'm going to say main stage because I've seen so much more main stage. And that's, where I basically grew up was on the floor at the Troc. So I'm going to say main stage, but the balcony was cool. The balcony was a cool place to see a show. When the shows were on the main stage, I think there was only one time I actually enjoyed sitting in the balcony to watch a show, and that was probably the last time I was at the truck, and that was the last I saw the Dead Milkmen there.
Oh, nice.
And that was, I don't remember what year it was, but it wasn't that long ago. And we did sit. I actually went with a friend of the podcast, Kristen, and we did sit in the balcony for that. We weren't on the floor, and that's probably the only time I actually enjoyed sitting in the balcony to see a show, because there were a couple other times I was in there. Saw Sunny Day Real Estate. We were in the balcony. I didn't really like. I didn't like the view. When I was still in high school, I saw the Pogues there, but this was without Shane McGowan. And what they did actually at that one is they made the downstairs 21 and up, and the balcony was under 21. So we actually had to. I didn't have a choice because I was only like 17, 18 at the time, so I had to sit in the balcony for that. I would have rather been on the floor for that, but it was okay. So as far as like seeing a main stage show, I think I would have rather been on the floor, but like the couple shows I did see in the balcony were cool. Like I said, I got to see the Yeah Yeah Yeahs before I knew who the Yeah Yeah Yeahs were in the balcony. So that was cool.
I'm trying to find a specific date for when the truck closed.
It was not that long ago. I don't remember like when it was like fully closed or what. I can't recall, but it was within the last, I want to say the last 5 or 6 years. I know it was pre-pandemic, but it might have been like right before the pandemic sort of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
No. All I can find is that Bob Dylan performed there on December 11th, 1997.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah, right, there you go. Bob Dylan at the truck. It would not surprise me. The truck had a lot of like different things come through, and like people who would play the truck, you'd be like, holy fuck! Like I like it every now and then. Like the things will come out that'll say it'll be like the calendar, the marketing calendar that shows like the bands that played the truck in like this 1 month, or like even better, or like the bands that played like JC Dobbs, because there's a month. JC Dobbs is at Third and South, which is no longer around either. JC Dobbs is here for JC Dobbs. So, but there's this one calendar that goes around every periodically. I'll see it on Facebook that at like JC Dobbs in like the course of a month in like 91, 92, something like that. Like where they had in the same month they had Green Day, they had Nirvana, they had Pearl Jam, all play at the truck at the JC Dobbs at 3rd and South Street in Philadelphia, which is like the room that had the stage with the bar where the bands would be is not much bigger than the Ottsville Record Garage, which is basically a 900 square foot garage. Even though we talk about the acres and acres of records we have, that is true to an extent, but it's really, only about like 800
Where we
square
record
feet.
is kind of the atrium.
Yes, it's the atrium.
For the massive warehouse that is.
There you go. But yeah, so like the truck was a place to see like bands that like you can't believe, like the bands that you got to see there, and I got to see a lot of them. So I was pretty excited about that. But again, part of the lore of those like, early 90s lore is JC Dobbs at 3rd and South that had like these bands. I remember my ex-wife was saying the one time she was hanging out on South Street during the day, and she runs into this guy, and he was like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? Why don't you come see my band tonight at JC Dobbs? And hands her a demo tape. And they were like, oh, yeah, sure, like whatever. And then like obviously they didn't go. But then like a month later, the Counting Crows blew up, and that's whose demo tape she had.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Adam from the Counting Crows was like, yes, come see my show tonight at JC Dobbs, and she had no idea it was him. But I mean that's what JC Dobbs was too. So but back to the album. We're here to talk about.
We digress. Like I was saying, I really enjoyed the shit out of this, and I can definitely see like the natural what's the word I'm looking for? Natural progression from shit like this to the stuff I was listening to.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't help but notice. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but I couldn't help notice on a lot of the tracks. What I really heard was the band Thursday.
No, I could definitely hear some Thursday on that. Yeah.
I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, and if I'm not mistaken, it was right off the bat. It was It was As We're Told. Like I was getting like a lot of Thursday vibes from it.
Mm-hmm.
I like this album so much that I actually said to our brother Zach, I was like, "Hey, you should go check this album out."
It's a good album.
And I actually sent it to Katai and said, "You should check this out." And she texted me back like 20 minutes later and said, "This guy sounds like Dave Grohl. I don't like it."
He sounds nothing like Dave Grohl. This is the problem with that fucking Delco bitch you live with. She doesn't know what Dave Grohl sounds like. It sounds nothing like this. This guy's a much better singer than Dave Grohl.
She was also saying that she was trying to listen to it while the kids were watching TV and running around and screaming. So she may need to give it a second listen. But
yeah, that's actually probably the worst time to listen to anything.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm all about this, and if I wasn't recording about it tonight, I would have already listened to more of their stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to contaminate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Contaminate.
Yep. No, sometimes you gotta like stop. I know. I definitely did and I don't think I cross contaminated because I had listened to it at that point like probably like 10 times. I know I looked into like a little bit more of like Manchester Orchestra while like the week we were doing it, but like I like seriously already listened to it like 10 times. I was like, all right, let me check out a couple other things, but I did stop short. Like I didn't get too deep into it. So no, I definitely understand that. Yeah, they're like I said, it's their first 3 albums. It's Billy, it's Clumsy, and then the next one, which again has some super long name. Those are the 3 that like I like the most. I didn't really follow them beyond that just because life happens, and sometimes when life happens, you can't follow things like music as much as you want to. But nah, man, definitely solid. So Capsized was probably drinking the PBR. There you go.
2 of clubs.
2 of clubs. All right. So I am drinking water because even though I was drinking last week, we are Katie and I are doing mostly dry January. We had visitors last weekend, so
you guys don't have guests this weekend. So.
Yeah, we don't have guests this weekend. It's just us. So we're back to not drinking. But then next weekend, the upcoming weekend, I will be drinking. It's fancy. Like even when before like we set dry January, I said to her, I'm like, well, we're gonna have the fantasy football party at the end of January. I'm gonna drink at that. She's like, no, that's fine. That's different. It was basically it's the end of January anyway.
For the fantasy football party, you're gonna have guests over. So
we're gonna have guests, and we're gonna have hot dog water. We're gonna have Bob and Paul's hot dog water. So
I cannot wait for the hot dog water. I'm so excited for the hot dog water.
It should be good. We're gonna have a fried turkey. I don't know. Are you gonna be able to get the other fryer over to me before Sunday at a reasonable time?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, all right. Because otherwise,
what I'll do is I'll be able to get up to you.
All right, cool. Because otherwise, we'll do a roast duck, but we'll definitely be doing a fried turkey. But the plan is to do a fried turkey and a fried duck, and then whatever else we end up making. So it should be fun. Those parties always tend to be a good time. So, so Capsized was probably the most influential song for me personally on this album. The guitar grabs your attention, and then the first fucking lines of that first 2 lines of that song, they like grab your heart and then they just squeeze real tight. It's like, I hate you still, yet I imitate you. It's like, fuck, god damn it. That's where it's like, God, that was like the moment where it's like, I am my father. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. You know what I mean? And it's like, all that like that like teenage angstiness that like you rebel against as a kid, and it's like, fucking hate you, but I'm just like you. It's like, oh god, and that's and that song definitely did it. The lyrics throughout the album are probably the most emo thing about the album. I don't think, like I said, like I think the music's kind of all over the place a little bit. But like definitely if you delve into the lyrics, besides the songs that he's singing about his car, which I do think is a little weird, the lyrics throughout the album are very deep. They're very, they're not catchy lyrics necessarily, except for that first 2 lines of Capsize, but in a different way. They're like different catchy. No, it's like I said, it's definitely an album that I know when Sean and I were writing music, we listened to a lot. Um, it's a great album. I love this album, and they are still around. They are currently on tour. They're currently in Europe actually right now. So
Yeah, I said they just released an album in 2023.
yeah. So they are around. If they came back to Philly, I probably would try to get over there to see them, and and probably
Well, now
enjoy
I'm
the hell
saying
out
now
of it.
that I enjoy them, if they're back in Philly, we'll make a day of it.
Yeah, no, man, that'd be great. That would be great. So, yeah, but no, this is, and it's definitely one of those albums, man, where it's just like, this is when the stuff we were doing. This was definitely the influential stuff we were playing. This is the stuff we wanted to sound like to an extent. We didn't want to. This union didn't want to be necessarily poppy, and I don't think we ever were. But you could definitely feel an influence of them and some of the other bands we were listening to at the time, Fugazi, Texas is the Reason, Quicksand, all those like things, we're definitely, you could feel them in Disunion and whatnot. And, we thought we were very emotional and above, being, dirty kids from Northeast Philadelphia. But so yeah, it's a great album. Great album. So you got anything else about this bitch?
No, it's just funny because like this podcast is kind of like opening my eyes to like growing up. Like I did like Paul, like I said, Paul's always made fun of me for shit that I listen to. And so like it's funny to hear Paul talk about like certain bands that like his band was influenced by. Because in my mind, Paul would never know those bands. Like, the fact that you just said Texas is the Reason is blowing my mind.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, Texas is the Reason.
Because,
fucking... All right, so actually, here, I'm going to fucking blow your mind even further. Disunion, we played from, like, the time we were 18 to, like, 21-ish or something. I don't know, whatever. Early 20s. And then we broke up for a couple of years, and then we got back together. And one of the shows we played was at the time, JC Dobbs was closed, but we played the Pontiac Grill. Texas is the Reason had already broken up. But there was this band that we opened up for called Into Another. No, not Into Another. The New Rising Sons. That's what they were called. The New Rising Sons. The bass player for the New Rising Sons was Into Another. I forget who the drummer was from, but the singer was the singer and songwriter, main guy and guitar player from Texas is the Reason, and which was like fucking great. Like we were just like, oh my god, like getting to meet him and talk to him and we asked him what's up with Texas is the Reason. He's like, we're done. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And it was just like cool. Like we got to like be like share a stage with like one of the people who like influenced us heavily in what we were doing. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was that was really cool. But yeah, really, you didn't think I would know Texas is the Reason? See, I'm actually
I'm sure you I assumed you would at least know of them, but like I know like Texas is the Reason and Sunny Day Real Estate. I read a book a while back called what's it called? It's called Everybody Hurts in a
you were telling me about that. Yeah.
Culture.
Uh-huh.
And they're talking about all these like early emo bands, and they're talking about Promise Ring, Sunny Day Real Estate, Texas is the Reason. So like in my mind, like that's just a genre of music that you like. In my mind, you're just like very strictly punk rock.
Oh no, that's
and like that like you never would have gone into that emo realm.
Oh no, we were totally we were like one of the first emo bands in Philly, like actually like in this area, like to the point where when we used to play there was a place on 2nd Street by 2nd and Market. It was called Upstairs at Nick's. It was on top of Nick's Roast Beef. And the guy who booked there used to, which by the way, rest in peace Rick. We gotta say rest in peace Rick and his leather vest. All right. But he used to book us there, and what he would do is he would book us for like bands coming through the area that we were the only one that seemed to fit on the bill with them. You know what I mean? So like when Brodo Pond came through, he's like, yeah, I don't know who the fuck to put with Brodo Pond. I'm gonna put Disunion with them. Bands like that, I forget. I can't even remember some of the bands that we played with, but he used to like always was like, okay, there's this emo type band or you know what I mean, that sound that we had that was not as good as these bands by any means. We were not as good as these bands, but we fit in. We fit in the bill. We fit on the bill. We fit in like with the show. So it was cool. It was really cool. And we were one of the first bands in this area doing that music, which is why like when I started like booking shows, and I think you were at some of them, like the all ages shows, when I saw some of those like Will Yip, the drummer and producer in the band he was at, they called like Bullets Over Broadway or something like that. When I got
Shock and Addiction.
I don't know, whatever the fuck they. I don't know. There were a couple of them. There were a couple like emo bands because I put the shows together. I just can't remember what their names were.
It wasn't Bullets Over Broadway. Bullets Over Broad.
Bullets, whatever it was. But like when they were playing and like what and some of the other bands I had on those shows, I'm like, this was the stuff that like Disunion started. You know what I mean? Like in the air, and like not that we were like fucking like, you know, pioneers or anything like that, but like. There weren't really like we were playing shows with punk rock bands. So specifically, we played a lot of shows with Christian punk rock bands, which was even funnier. So you know, because like nobody knew where to put us or who to play with. Honestly, the biggest flaw of Disunion was the fact that we never left Philadelphia. It was, you know, if we had gone on, just booked our own tours, hit areas outside of Philly and just like focused on it. Not saying we'd be famous, but like we would have been probably able to do music for like longer than like as actual jobs for a little while, you know? But hey, that is life. You make your choices and you know, you go with it. I'm sure the fact that I had a kid at 19 probably changed the trajectory of the band as well. So, I'm sure. You know? So, you know, so yeah. But no, great band. Very influential band for me. You know, especially, you know, in my late teens, early 20s, and you know, still great, man. And the singer, who's, you know, I can't pull this stuff up like right now because then you won't see Adam, because we're not real high tech here. But no. Like the singer is one of the best vocal like as far as like that genre of like emo, like as a true vocalist is fucking amazing. And he writes his own, and he writes the lyrics, and they're good lyrics, and the fucking his range is amazing, and he's really good, and you know the music is good. It's just, you know, like I said, this album is kind of like all over the place. So, excuse me, but it works. It works, you know, and I definitely enjoy it. So,
as do I.
Yes. All right. So,
I was looking up the lead singer.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the lead singer's name?
I don't know. I can't look it up.
I say because if you look on the band's Wikipedia, only one of the members has a hyperlink that you can click on, and it's the drummer. So
okay. Jason Bebot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a
yeah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
On Wikipedia.
Nope. He does not. But yeah. Yep. So, and then Sergei Lubkov, I think, is the one who wrote most of the music. So that's like they're like the Paul McCartney and John Lennon of Samiam. So, moving right along. Do you have anything else you have to say about this album?
No, just that like I said, I'm excited to dive a little bit deeper into them because, like I said, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot, and I could definitely see where the thing that like this is something that the things I listened to came from.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think there is definitely that you know that direct line. You know what I mean? I think you know, just when you get into the early 2000s emo, like I said, I think it's too formula, it's too copycat. It's you know, this is how you do an emo song, and it's just like it's not really. Well, if anything, I think this band shows that this is not how you do an emo song, but you can still be emo. You know,
it's kind of like I was talking to my daughter today, and she's a big fan currently of A Mice and Men, and A Mice and Men is in that like late 2000s, early aughts, like post-hardcore, metalcore bullshit where it all sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's rough.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. But hey, she loves them, right? And,
Yeah.
Nice. So speaking of kids,
You got a kid.
I do. I have 4 of them. But the 13-month-old upstairs named Regina, she was indifferent to this album.
Yeah?
Mainly. Okay, so it's winter, as we know, and she's been fighting off a bit of a cold. A little bit of cough. It's getting better, so nothing serious or anything like that. So I really didn't have a chance to play for her. I wasn't taking her out. I wasn't going to take her out in the snow. Like, if she was, like, not coughing, we probably would have dressed her up and taken her out in the snow and shit like that. It's also been fucking freezing. Like, I don't think it's just here. I think down in, like, Philly, it's gotten into, like, no higher than, like, 25, 26 degrees or something like that. So it's not it's not as bad as, like, fucking Kansas or Buffalo or anything like that. But it's been fucking cold. So I haven't really taken her out. So I hadn't actually gotten a chance to play it for her. So it's definitely going to go down as indifferent. If I had to guess what Regina would think of this album, I would say it's probably a dislike. But I'm not gonna say for sure. I'm not gonna say for sure. So because it helps me to not say for sure. So so that has you at 10 likes and 4 dislikes, and me still up a half a game at 10 likes and 3 dislikes, and we have 8 indifference. So tell Katai to get out of the room and stop messing with our podcast.
Katie.
Get out. Get the fuck out. Get out.
No,
yeah, don't. No, get lost. We don't need no Delco on this.
He told you to get the fuck out of the room and stop interrupting.
Fuck off.
You hear?
That's
She said fuck off, Paul.
Yeah, tell me you're from Delco without telling me you're from Delco. So all right, so Adam, top 3 songs.
Right off the bat, very much like Taylor Swift, I gotta go track 1. I gotta go As We're Told.
Okay.
I'm gonna go As We're Told. I'm gonna go possibly this is I'm gonna go As We're Told. I'm gonna go Stepson. I'm gonna go She's Part of Me, and I'm gonna go honorable mention to Capsized.
Okay. All right. Cool. So my top 3 is it's funny because they're all back to back to back. My number 1's Capsized. My number 2 is Stepson. My number 3 is Bad Day. And my honorable mention is As We're Told.
Okay.
This album just
literally the first 4
tracks, man. It's just a solid. It's funny, you're freezing, so it's just like, you know what I mean. It's like screenshots of you jumping around. It's pretty crazy. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. It almost looks like you're faking it, but I don't think you are.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
I mean, I can. It's
there you go. But no, it's a solid opening for an album. Like those 4 songs, boom, the boom, the boom, the boom. It's just, it works really fucking well, and I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, my least favorite is Time by the Dive or Time by the Drive. Where the fuck I can't.
Time by the Dime.
Thank you. Time by the Dime. And this goes back to like the whole like, 90s like alt rock thing. It reminds me of a Bush song. Like, honestly, I think if Bush did that song, it probably would have been like a top 20 hit. So, but it's just Sam I Am did it.
It's very interesting because my bottom is also Time by the Dime.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
When I was listening to the album today, I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I got my 3, but I don't know what to fucking list as my bottom. And I'm sitting there, and like, I finally get to the end of the album. I'm like,
I'm sorry, dude. You seriously, when this comes out, you gotta watch the fucking video, dude.
Why?
Especially towards the end, because it's been fine up until like now.
That's weird.
It really does. Like, I swear to God, it looks like you're fucking faking this, but you're not. Right, go on. You were saying your least is also time by the Dime.
Yeah, my least is also Time by the Dime, and like I didn't really figure that out until today. when I was listening. I was on my way. I had picked up my daughter, and we were driving back to the apartment, and I was listening to the album, and I'm like, man, I don't have a bottom yet. I'm like, I really got to fucking figure this out before tonight. And then the album like comes to an end, and I'm like, yeah, I could kind of do without Time by the Dime.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of how I was with it too. And like I said, I think this is like, you know, especially the later songs on the album kind of gets more into that like 80s alt and a little bit away from like the true emo stuff. You know, it even gets away from like the pop punk stuff, like the last like 3 songs or so. And again, there is pop punk I like. There's, you know what I mean? So it's not, I actually have less against pop punk than I have against early 2000s emo. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely, you know, I could see it. But like I said, if Bush, if you had like that fucking Gavin dude singing "My Time by the Dime," you had him doing it, it'd probably be like a fucking top 20 hit.
It's the B side to Glycerin.
Yeah, exactly. But no, actually, go back and listen to it and think of like Bush when you're listening to it, and tell me you don't see the resemblance.
No.
Especially with the guitar, the way the guitar is on that. So Discogs factor, the Discogs value. So what?
Everything is just a factor.
It's a factor.
Discogs factor. Yes. Top 3 factor.
Well, that's what I wrote was the Discogs factor. I'm like, we never called this Discogs factor.
You said this is you have a special edition version, right?
I do. I have a 2013 limited edition reissue. It's actually a Record Store Day release, which
nice.
Which is funny because I didn't get this at a store on Record Store Day. So this is 2013. What I actually think was I was probably working for Soundstage Direct at the time. And in 2013, Soundstage Direct was able to get Record Store Day stuff. For a couple of years while I worked there, they were able to get the Record Store Day stuff, even though they were an online-only store. And so I was the buyer there. So more than likely,
bullshit.
I know, right? I ordered this for myself. So it is hand numbered. There are only 1,500 units of this press in 2013, 100 of which, what's that?
When you say hand numbered, where is it numbered?
It is like in the bottom, like left hand corner. It is literally, You can see where somebody wrote. So my number is 222 out of 1,500. So is
it etched on the vinyl at all as well?
No. It's literally just handwritten on the sleeve. Which is funny because literally you just had some dude writing that on the sleeve, which is where the record industry kind of gets over on people, like when they talk about these limited edition numbered pressings, which literally, because we did this actually at Soundstage Direct, there were a couple things that they put out that were limited edition number pressings, where we literally took stickers and put the sticker onto the sleeve and like, it's limited edition numbered. That's it. You put a fucking sticker on it, or someone writes.
You should start just putting numbers on Birmingham 6
albums. I know, exactly. Or like people write on here, like, you know, the number. Like literally, there's a white box where someone could write in, you know, that this is copy 222 out of 1,500. It might be the last one off the pressing. Who fucking knows? And that's another thing where, like, when you get into that stuff where, like, I get annoyed with Mobile Fidelity buyers specifically, because they'll be like, oh, well, they're only doing 5,000 of this pressing, and it's like, which it's a much higher quality pressing. I will say that it's a higher quality pressing. The remastering of that they do for their stuff is really good. But when people get into the whole limited edition numbered thing, dude, they're doing 5,000 now, which they're probably actually doing 10,000, but they're doing 5,000 now. And in a year, they're going to do another 5,000. And a year after that, they're going to do another 5,000. And this is where people like get like, oh my God, I got to get this right now. Which is why I say sometimes vinyl people, calm the fuck down. Like, seriously, chill out, now, you know?
Can I ask a question in regards to like numbered things? Is there any degrading between the first pressing and the 1,500th pressing?
I have no idea. I doubt it, because honestly, it comes off of the plates, you know, and then they do what they have to do, and they throw it in a sleeve. And then eventually the sleeve ends up in you know, like when I say the sleeve, they'll put it in the inner sleeve.
Yeah.
The inner sleeve, and then eventually somebody puts it into the jacket. Are they actually going off of like, well, this is the very first one? I think the only time.
No. I'm speaking degrading of the pressing.
What do you mean?
Is the first pressing crisper than the 1500th pressing?
Oh no.
No.
No, they're on the same plates. It's the same as, you know, is the first pressing any different than the 10,000th pressing? No, it's all, you know, it's all the fucking metal plates. The plates don't necessarily degrade. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you do the pressing right, it's fine.
Like I said, I have a very loose understanding of how records actually work. It's all kind of black magic to me.
Yeah.
So I was curious if there was any, if there was a breakdown in quality. From like the first pressing of a record to the 100,000th pressing of a record.
No, it comes down to the plates they use. It comes down to the pressing plant. If it's being done at different pressing plants, they might have different equipment. Their plates might be a little different. But that's also why there is a such thing as test pressings. So they'll make like X amount before they'll do the full run of like, you know, however many test pressings until they say, okay, this is the right one. And then that becomes the approved plates that they use. So that's why sometimes if you can pick up a test pressing, which are very hard to come about, they're worth money. So I have in my collection, I have one test pressing, and I
just recently got that.
I just recently got it. Yeah. So, and it's, you know what I mean? And I won it. So, you know, so it was kind of cool. Like, all right, yeah, I got a test pressing. I never looked up the value of it. I don't really care because it's not something I care to sell or ever get rid of. It's just, I think it's cool to have it and I like the artist. So, but like I was saying, with this pressing, this 2013 Record Store Day pressing, 100 were randomly distributed as clear vinyl. My copy is red vinyl.
Oh, nice.
So I did not. I am one of the 1,400 that are on red vinyl, and then there's 100 out there that were on clear vinyl. But again, I still have a relatively low number, which
I like the red with the yellow label.
Yeah. But the red number seems to, or the lower number seems to matter to collectors. The lower the number, they figure the better it is. I don't know, but like I would get that all the time with mobile fidelity customers. They would like order something and be like, could you give me the lowest number possible? It's like, I don't have any fucking control over that, but sure. You know what I mean? So so at any rate, this I was happy about this. I was kind of very interested about this last week. So my very good plus grading on this record, if that's what I was, you know, if that's what we're to do, my very good plus rating, and you're gonna love this, is $71.01.
Get the fuck out of here.
Which rounds me up to $72. So I get an extra 99 cents from you.
I'm still beating you, but you're a piece of shit.
I know. It's great. So that brings my running total to $695. And your running total is still at $811, which has you up $116, and you have a record at hand. Now, I did do something today, because you have 18 records that we've done. I have 17 at this point, from our respective 25s. If we took Steel Train out of your records, I'm actually beating you by like $70.
You're beating me by this record.
Basically, yes, I'm beating you by this record. So yeah, so fucking Steel Train, you know. But you got it, and you know, see that's the thing. Like, this is like, unfortunately, like Steel Train came up like relatively early. It'd be like almost better if like I was beating you up until like the last like episode, like you know, whatever, and it's like boom, there's Steel Train. It's like, motherfucker, you know, like
Cinderella story. Just
yeah. Now it's kind of like a football game where like someone's up like, excuse me.
Bless you.
Where someone's up like 45-10, but you still have to play the fourth fucking quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But So I'm gonna pull the box of Mike in a second. Now what we're gonna pull from the box of Mike is actually going to be not for next week's episode. It's going to be for 2 weeks from now. So what we pull from here will be aired on February the 8th. Next week's episode, like as I mentioned, because we have some stuff going on Sunday, so we're not going to film. So it is going to be a random record episode, and I am doing it with the official bartender of the Country Hipster podcast. Tom Bernard will be here, and we are going to talk about. I know I'm gonna say this wrong, and I think this is why he fucking chose it. Derina Harvey Band, Rove and Go is the name of the album. So it's DERINA Harvey Band is the album, is the band, and the album we're going to talk about is called Rove and Go. So I'm pretty excited about listening to that. I think Tom is actually going to come here, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to drink some beers and talk about the Derina Harvey Band, Rove and Go. But we do have some business. We got a pull from the box of Mike. I'll give you 1 second.
Take Michael's stripe off his throat.
There he goes. He's right up there for you. All right. So, man, there are not many.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I remember when we were pulling this, I was like, oh, shit, there's not much left.
There's not a whole lot left here. So, we're getting to the end. This is still probably going to, last until June. But we're getting to the end. All right, so I picked this one. It's number 14. And from what it looks like, it does kind of look like it's a pink one, which generally bodes in my favor. I may have a hat trick here. We may be evened up. What do you think, Michael Stray? He doesn't think much, but he does appreciate you talking about how large his penis is. Yeah. Unlike some people, apparently they don't like to talk about penis. So, this is me. This is me. This is a good one. This is a very, very good one. This is Tim Barry, Manchester.
Nice.
Yes.
I've been waiting for Tim Barry.
There it is. Boom. Tim Barry, Manchester. So.
Can I see the cover? Okay.
So, and I think I got. Oh yeah, it's a pretty one. It's on cream vinyl. So maybe I make another dent. We'll see.
Cream vinyl sounds like the name of your record label.
Yeah. There you go. But no, this is a limited edition colored vinyl, so that is exciting. People who are not familiar with Tim Barry is a folk punk singer-songwriter out of Richmond, Virginia, and was formerly the singer of the band Avail. So if you're familiar with Avail, you know who Tim Barry is, and this is Manchester. I forget what year this album actually came out, but it's one of his earlier albums. Has some great songs on it, and so I am looking forward. I got my hat trick. So we will be discussing that in about 2 weeks' time, and yeah, that's exciting. So
for the record, Manchester came out in 2011.
There you go, 2011, which was a while ago. So now that'll be exciting, and yeah, that'll be good. That's all I got. You got anything else? You got anything else? I don't have anything else.
No, like I said, I'm excited to explore Samiam more.
Cool.
And I'm very excited for. I have a very limited knowledge of Tim Barry, but from what I've heard of Tim Barry, I really enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to next week as well.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun.
Not next week, but the following week as well.
Yep. No, it's an album that I will have no issue listening to for the next 2 weeks. So, So that'll be good. That'll be a good time. And if you have nothing else before I sneeze again, you good?
You gonna sneeze?
I'm gonna sneeze.
Can we get it on camera?
No, I don't want to, because I already did that twice. So if you're good, I'm good, and then it is time to move on.